you have a saltwater hot tub, and do you know how important it is to balance the hardness, pH, and alkalinity? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, so you can have an absolutely trouble-free hot tub experience. Hey, hot tubbers! I'm Jackie the Hot Tub Lady, and today we are going to talk about the importance of balancing your saltwater hot tub. I'm going to tell you guys, it is probably the most important part of owning a saltwater hot tub. You do have to get it in line or it's just not going to work. That is, the first 2 weeks of owning a saltwater hot tub are definitely a challenge. After you get it in line, it's going to run perfect and everything's gonna be fantastic, but you do have to get it in line. And to do that, we're gonna actually start with alkalinity. And guys, if you have any questions at all, I do have charts just like these that I'm going to show up here on the screen. But what they are is they're dosage charts on what you actually have to do to balance your water for a saltwater hot tub. If you're a chlorine hot tub, you definitely don't want to be watching this video. Check out this one up here. I'm going to tell you how to do it there on that video. This video is for saltwater hot tub customers. So you can definitely check out those charts. You can actually get a copy for yourself. They will be at www.thehottublady.co. I will have links down in the description that you can find them, but they are there and you can actually have your own copies. But we're going to start with alkalinity. And if your alkalinity is low, it is super easy to fix that. You're actually going to just get a product like this one called Alkalinity Increaser. Super easy to do. If your alkalinity is low, you just kind of look on the back of the bottle here or that chart. Let's say you have a 300-gallon hot tub and your alkalinity, we need to increase it by 100 points, we'll just say. And then, so in that case, you'll put in 12 tablespoons of Alkalinity Increaser. Easy peasy, you're done. It's that simple. So that dosage is on the back of that bottle, or again, you can check out the chart that I'm showing here. If your alkalinity is high, that's a whole nother ball game, and it is a challenge to fix that. And this is where the chart's really going to come in. I'm going to put up the lower your alkalinity chart right here. We're going to leave that up for a second so you guys can screenshot it if you need to. But if you have, let's say you have a 300-gallon hot tub and it has 340 alkalinity. If your alkalinity is that high, you have to get it down. And to do that, you're going to have to put in 2 to 3 tablespoons of pH decreaser every day for about 16 days. Now, I'm just pulling that off the top of my head, but it is definitely something that you can check out on this chart, and it's got the exact dosages to do that. Now, you can use your hot tub during that time frame, and you can work on getting everything else balanced as well, including getting the salt in the hot tub, but you do have to get it down. And one of the reasons that you want to do that is if you get your alkalinity in line, everything else will fall into line. It is the buffer for absolutely everything else, so you've got to get that alkalinity in line. It'll make your pH work better. It's going to make the chlorine that you produce by the salt, that's going to work better. It's going to be more effective. So it's just the number one thing that you have to fix. So to get that down, it takes a lot of work, but you do have to get it down. The beauty of it is you only have to drain a saltwater hot tub once a year. So once it's in line, you're doing pretty well. After that, you're going to balance your pH. And again, we'll look at those same chart, or we'll bring up the pH charts. If you got to raise your pH, it's super simple. You just use a product real similar to this one, but it's called pH Increaser instead of pH Decreaser. If you have to bump up that pH, couple teaspoons, once it's in, it's good, it's ready to go. Now, if you have high alkalinity, you're going to be using that pH decreaser. Ignore that pH until you actually get that alkalinity in line, and then you can just bump it right back up with the pH increaser. If you have high pH, you probably have high alkalinity and you've been working on it anyway, but if you just have high pH and your alkalinity's in line, you'll just use your pH decreaser. Again, very simple to do. It's a one dose and you're done and everything's good and you're ready to roll. So once you get the alkalinity and pH in line, the next thing that you've got to get in line is your hardness. And for you guys, this is a big deal. If you do not have your hardness at 75 part per million or lower, you're going to fight with that salt system, you're going to burn through your salt cells, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that happens there. And you know, check your 5-way test strip, but you literally got to get that hardness below 75 part per million. If you do not get that hardness below 75 part per million, you're really going to struggle. And how do you get your hardness down? Because it's pretty hard to do this. So to get your hardness down, you're going to use the product On The Go. Here's a picture of it right over here. In fact, I have a video up here of the On The Go water softener and what you should do with it. We'll check that out next. But you really do, you need the On The Go water softener. It is your friend. You are going to get along with your salt system much better. In fact, I actually include it in every saltwater hot tub that I sell because it's that important. Now, if you don't have an On The Go water softener, there is a product out there called Vanishing Act. Vanishing Act is a really good product. I highly recommend it. It works phenomenally well. You just set it on over the drain, you let it sit in there for 24 to 48 hours, you flip it over, and it actually it takes the hardness out of the water, and it works really well. I'll put a link for that down below as well. It's made by Watkins Manufacturing, and I really do believe in the product. I just feel that it's relatively expensive. Depending on the size of your hot tub, it's anywhere from, let's say, $40 to $80, and that's every time you drain and refill your hot tub, you'll have to do that. Where if you buy a Vanishing Act, or I'm sorry, if you buy a On The Go, you are good to go, and it's going to you'll have that forever. You just have to recharge it with a 69-cent canister of salt every once in a while. Again, there's a video up there, check that out. But you do really have to get that hardness in line. One of the things that I kind of want to talk about is on your salt system, that those salt systems only generate 1.5 teaspoons of chlorine in a 24-hour period. So sometimes that's enough, most of the times that's enough, but not always. So if you're only generating 1.5 teaspoons of chlorine in a 24-hour period, sometimes you're going to have to help that salt system out a little bit with some extra chlorine. But something that you can do in that process is if you keep that pH at a 7.6, that chlorine that you do produce is going to be twice as effective as it is if it's at an 8.4. So it's really important that you keep that pH in line, because if your pH is high, that chlorine will, it really will just not work as well. And so you're producing chlorine, but it's not working because your pH is high. So really important that you do that. And a byproduct of the salt getting turned into chlorine is it actually does create higher pH. So it's something that you're probably going to have to fight with a little bit on your salt system. You know, most of my customers are probably putting in 2 to 3 teaspoons of pH decreaser, every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's something that you are going to need. So make sure that you pay attention to that. If your salt system's working correctly, you should have pH creep. It should actually kind of go up for you on that. But guys, I hope this is helpful. And you know what? YouTube thinks you should watch this video right over here. And I agree with him. I probably made it, so it's going to be a good video. So make sure you guys check that out. I will talk to you guys soon.